Welcome back to the Orlando Arena. David Steele, pleased to be with you for the inaugural Magic basketball game.
Well, if we can't enjoy NBA basketball in the present, there's always the past, and Fox Sports Florida re-airing classic Magic games, starting with the first one, Exhibition 1989, October 13th versus the defending NBA champion Detroit Bad Boy Pistons. David, you were on the radio broadcast for this game. The game obviously didn't count, but it clearly meant a lot.
Yeah, it didn't matter that it didn't count. It was the culmination of 3.5, close to 4 years of very hard work by Pat Williams and Jimmy Hewitt and a lot of people in Central Florida that brought professional sports to a new level.
Stolen by Vincent. Vincent runs the break. He'll take it himself and lay it in.
Yeah, it's easy to call it just an exhibition game, but once the whistle blows, the crowd's screaming, it's close. This was the best team in the NBA.
This is interesting. Chuck Daly, 4:12 left, has his starting guards, Rodman, Sally, and Edwards on the floor to try and pull this thing out against the expansion team from Orlando.
I think it took Detroit Pistons team, it took them some time to figure out what they were involved with. I think they didn't have that intensity early in the game, but certainly in the fourth quarter they did. It was fun.
And now it is looking very much like a victory at the arena.
I think, right now we're all kind of realizing all the things we've taken for granted. And watching this game, one was very evident. I'm like taking notes and I'm like, what is the score? Then I realized there was no score on the broadcast. They only popped it up like every 5 minutes. It's funny looking back on that now. And just a couple other things I noticed was the lack of three-pointers. I think I could count on one hand how many were taken and made in the game.
Isaiah hits the first three-pointer in the Orlando Arena as far as NBA action's concerned, and Detroit cuts the lead to 1.
Yeah, that's what's so much fun, really, watching these old clips, old games. It was a different game back then. It really was. The three-point shot was available, but coaches just didn't use it much.
But I think you can probably hear the buzz in this crowd is just at a fever pitch.
Yeah, I'm talking to David Steele, the Magic Hall of Famer here. That was over 30 years ago. This is your first NBA job coming out of, calling the Florida Gators games.
There are 15,000 folks in the building, and every one of them is on their feet.
Yeah, I remember I had butterflies. I know I did. In my mind, it was like a current NBA playoff game. The crowd, the frenzied feel, the players giving it all they had. It was a tremendous night.
Sally inbound, stolen by Vincent. Vincent steals it and jams it. 118-107. The Orlando Magic have defeated the world champion Detroit Pistons in the very first NBA game in the history of Central Florida.
Hopefully for Magic fans out there, just hearing your voice, kind of brought them one step closer to hopefully having NBA basketball again.
Thank you, Pat. It was fun. We'll be back. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, only when. We just don't know exactly what that calendar looks like right now or exactly what it will look like when we do come back, but it's going to happen.
118-107 is the final. The defending world champs fall to the hometown team, and listen to the crowd.